What's the worst question you get asked in interviews?
Have you got a dick? We're just chilling out at Vice HQ, me and LJG. It's LJG, right?
Yeah.
That's a bit of a tongue twister. Do people call you that?
LJ.
LJ?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, PL and LJ.
What are we talking about, Paris?
I think we should talk about sex.
You want to talk? Okay. What about sex?
What else would you want to talk about?
I like you so much already.
We kind of found each other on Twitter
yeah.
and stuff, yeah, because trans people are really well connected online, right?
Very organized. It's like an army.
Yeah, because you have a lot of fans as well, right, that you interact with?
I do. Well, I use Twitter like text messaging, you know?
Have you had stalkers?
I've had stalkers for sure,
Yeah.
I had a girl who like moved to Gainesville and was posing to my friends as my girlfriend and telling people like that I like bought her flowers on Valentine's Day, made her spaghetti dinner, was paying her rent.
Crazy bitch.
But yeah, I called my one friend when we were coming into like play in Orlando or whatever, and she was like, "Yeah, we're coming with so and so." I was like, "Who?" And they're like, "Your girlfriend. We're coming with your girlfriend." I was like, "What are you fucking talking about?" And they're like, "Yeah."
Did you ever actually meet her and see her and put face?
I fucked her. So,
what?
Never mind. That's a whole nother story.
Really? Just say that again. I don't think we got that.
I think they're recording.
Wow. You fucked a stalker. You can't encourage stalkers. That's bad.
Well, whatever.
That's bad.
It was another time. It was a long... No, it was not.
I saw you got tweeted by Garbage recently.
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually into Garbage. I'm a huge Shirley Manson fan, and I am really jealous of you. If Shirley's watching this, like, she needs to know that I love her.
She's really fucking cool. She wrote me like one of the nicest emails I received when I came out.
Really?
Just totally like full support. Yeah.
Oh god. Okay, I'm totally gonna come to the States, and you gotta like sneakily introduce me to Shirley Manson. Okay. You know, like all these cool people. Who's the person that's kind of made you starstruck?
Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters and Nirvana.
Okay.
He was someone who I could, anytime I was around him, I'm just like, fuck, you're Dave Grohl.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Bruce Springsteen too. It's hard to like get over the fact that you're hanging out with Bruce Springsteen whenever you're in a room with
You've
him.
been hanging out with Bruce Springsteen.
When we were on tour with the Foo Fighters, one of the last shows Bruce Springsteen came to, and we were all sitting backstage, and like they were both talking to me, and like they both kind of said something at once, and I was like, fuck, like, do I talk to Dave or do I talk to Bruce? Like, I don't know who to like divert attention to right now. That was a pretty intense moment. What was the first album you ever bought, Paris?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. This is kind of like a bit taboo. When I was kind of like 14, 15, I kind of got involved with sex work. And the first time that I got a lot of money, I went to the HMV, and with my winnings, I got Madonna's Ray of Light album. I literally just love that album so much. You know that album?
Yeah,
yeah,
of course.
Yeah. I think it was her best, actually. Do you collect things or you?
I collect vinyl, but I got rid of every single CD I own.
But records do sound better, don't they?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like to hold the artwork and look at it. You know.
Yeah, I like the artwork for Transgender Dysphoria Blues.
Thanks.
Just like a tit, kind of just.
As you said, a pound of flesh. I use that
I
use that in interviews all the time now, as if it's my own.
Okay,
so.
maybe you could hire me for your PR, your PR team. What sort of things do people ask you? Because we both get asked stupid questions, right?
Yeah, totally. The Germans are pretty unrelenting in the way they ask stuff.
Okay.
It'll be like, your first record is great. This new record is shit. Why is this?
Really?
So you plan to cut off your Johnson. How do you think this will affect your fan base? You're just like, fuck, man, like. That was like literally verbatim an interview I did. It's not every interview, you know. But
I was speaking to a friend earlier, and I mentioned that I was coming here, and she's a bit older than me, and she has a grown-up son, and he's a really big Against Me fan, and he was quite accepting of her kind of transition, but actually, when he saw what you'd done and kind of could look at it from a fresh perspective, that's actually helped him accept that his dad is you know, now female. So have you had a lot of responses like that from your fans?
A little bit, yeah, sure. Which is cool, you know? Helping to educate people, I guess.
Yeah. Does it feel like a burden?
No, no. It feels easy in a way. I don't know.
Yeah.
Does it feel like a burden to you?
I think it's difficult for anybody who's putting themselves in the public eye, but I think for trans women in particular, you know, that scrutiny and worrying what you look like and knowing that people will judge you and that they will consider that is the most interesting thing about you. It is a pressure sometimes, but then I expect it because I'm talking about issues, I'm talking about political issues, and I'm talking about being transgender. I guess you just wanted to make music, and then obviously you're talking about your experiences in that, but for you the whole thing wasn't about being transgender, but I guess that's kind of what I'm about at the moment, you know. I mean, it surprises me that you don't. I'm glad that you don't. Like, I don't want you to feel that pressure, but I just feel like I see people like you, and I find myself sitting in situations sometimes doing things that I know someone from our background hasn't done before, and I think that is a pressure because it's kind of like you're representing us, you know, and people are kind of investing their hopes in you. And
but I don't want to get that in my head even.
Really?
You know, like I feel like that if I ever started to think about that it would be bad, you know?
Maybe you've got the right idea then. Would you say you've got a lot of fans who are trans fans?
A fair amount, I think, you know. I mean, for me, it's important, like, to connect with those people. Like, I want to know those people. Like, coming from a place where I had no support network and didn't know anybody, like, I want to be able to go places and know people who I can fucking relate to. I can't relate to most of the people I get stuck hanging out with or whatever. Like, I'm coming from a scene of people with punk rock where it is really masculine and where it is really a boys' club. And, like, that's okay. I'm all right with, like, hanging out with dudes and, like, you know, being dumb and drunk and whatever, but there's a part of me that wants a different life in a lot of ways, you know?
Do you think that punk is more welcoming? You'd think it would be welcoming of difference and saying, you know, fuck you to kind of ideas of who we're supposed to be, right?
Right, well, that's what drew me to punk when I got into punk, you know? But there's so many, like, different subsections and different parts of it that, like, I don't know. There definitely are parts that aren't like that, you know?
I think that when you spend a lot of time on social media just with other trans people and with your fans and people like that and stuff, like, it's easy to kind of think that you're at the centre of something and that everyone's talking about it in terms of, like, transgender issues. But do you think that this is becoming a thing now?
I think it's definitely becoming more, it's been brought to people's attention, you know, more and more trans people's stories are becoming, like, told and in a positive way, and there's representation, which is a really good thing, you know? It's, like, weird to think about it as a movement because it's not like a movement, you know?
I don't know, it feels like it is a little bit. I mean, it's hard to tell, isn't it? Because, like, well, we're here talking for Noisey, right? And it's like, I just think, was this happening, you know, 10 years ago?
No.
I don't think it was, you know, and I think that you coming out is part of that. I think that in the States, in particular, a lot of trans women of colour are kind of getting their voices heard. I'm thinking of people like Janet Mark,
Laverne Cox.
I just love Laverne. She's great, isn't she?
She's rad.
She really. We should just talk about.
She
Laverne
follows me
Cox.
on Twitter.
Does she? Oh, okay. She follows me as well. I think we
I
should
definitely did a, like, yeah, when I saw that she followed me.
She's cool, isn't she? She's so cool. And I think that she communicates the kind of message in a language that people can understand. And I think that's so important. And I think we're seeing more and more people like that. But for my perspective, it's just, I feel like we've kind of reached this tipping point where people are just kind of like coming out, and you're part of that. And, you know, it's just everywhere. People are thinking, do you know what? I feel able to do this now in a way that I don't think people in the public eye did 20 years ago. Because I think when I was growing up, for me, it wasn't an option, you know? It was just that you just can't do that. And all you could really see were these kind of miserable documentaries. And I used to really kind of latch on to those, but I never really identified with the people in them because it was always told in a very kind of patronising, you know, look at these freaks kind of way. But I think now, if you're kind of 14, 15 and you're looking at people like you and Laverne and other people that are doing things, I think it's become aspirational. I don't think it was ever aspirational. I don't think you ever looked at transgender people and thought, oh my God, they're so fucking cool, you know, and look at us, we're fucking cool, you know. I really think that's
cool.
A change.
Right.
Here's to being cool.
Cheers.
You fucked a stalker.